Hi everyone and welcome back. In this part now we're gonna secure all our endpoints. As you can see here, for the user model we got 2 endpoints, register and login, and for the post model we got 5 endpoints. And now we are going to say that all post model are going to be protected. And to do so, we are going to use Laravel Sanctum. We are going to create a middleware, and then we are going to put in these endpoints. And then here we're going to do off. Again, we're going to do sanctum. Then we're going to pass here a function. And then we have to copy this within the middleware so that these endpoints are going to the user who wants to access these endpoints need to provide to the server a token. Now here, let's move to the postman. If we get back to the postman and we need to return a list of posts, you're going to see here, we're going to get a message of unauthenticated. Here, if I tap here, we got here a message unauthenticated because we doesn't send to the server a token. And we need to provide to the server a token in order to get a list of posts, or if we need to register posts or modify posts. Now here, let's create a user. I've already created a user. I think this user already exists within the database. Now here, now we need to create another user. Let's create a user, register. Let's change the endpoint to post. And then here, we're gonna say pass here Isaac, and the name here, it is going to be isaac@gmail.com, and the password, we're gonna let the password like it is 0909. Let's create the user. You can see here we just created a user, Isaac, and then we need to log in this user. We are going to change the endpoint by login, because here the password it is correct, and then you can see that we return a logged in user with a token. Now, if you want to get access or modify a given post, we need to provide the server this token. The user must send to the server a token, a valid token. Now we need to move to the authorization tab, and then we're going to select bear token, and then we're going to pass the token right there. Okay, you can see if we send the token, we send this request. You can see here we are getting a list of posts. Let's change to posts. Here we're going to pass here posts. Yeah, you can see here we are getting a list of posts because we just pass a token which is valid. If we change here, we send to the server an invalid token, you're going to get unauthenticated. Let's say I add an X there. You can see we're going to get here a message of unauthenticated. Now let's remove the X, and then here we are going to get a list of token. If you go within the database, here you're going to see we have the table personal access token. Here we just logged in the user which has the ID 6. Here, if we go to the users table, and then here the user which has the ID of 6, it is Isaac. And then we go within the personal access token. You can see here the user with ID 6, it is logged in, which is Isaac. And how can we log out this user? Because here, if I remove these rows, I just deleted the connected user, which is Isaac. And then if we go back within the postman here, and then we need to get to the list of posts, we are going to get here an authenticated message, because within the database, we doesn't have this user. Because here you can see the personal access token, it is empty. We doesn't have this user within the personal access tokens. Now, in order a user get access to the list of posts, he needs to be logged in. And then if we logged in this user, let's change to body, and then here we move to the body tag, and then here we send valid credentials. Here we need to change the endpoints. You can see, yeah, here we got again another token generated by the server, and then this token we need to pass it to the authorization tab, the bear token. You need to select bear token, and then here we pass this token. And then here, if you want to get access to a list of posts, you're going to get these ports. You can see right here, we got a list of posts. And if we go again within the database, within the personal access token table, you can see our user with ID 6, it is logged in. Now, how can we logged out the user? We are going to create another endpoint, which is going to be logged out. Here, it is going to be a protected endpoint. A user which is going to hit this endpoint needs to be logged in, which needs to provide to the server a valid token. Now we are going to create another route here. We would say we're going to go within the post, and then we're going to say log out. Then here we're going to pass the auth controller class, and then we're going to point to the method logout user. Now let's get into the auth controller and create the logout user. Now here we are going to do this function logout user. We're going to pass it the request class, and then we are going to use the DB class because within the request we are going to send one field. It is going to be the user ID because we are going to delete the user ID within the personal access token table. Now we are going to do user ID like this, user ID, and then here we are going to pass here the name of the personal access token here like this. Then we are going to do where tokenable ID, which is the user ID. Tokenable, let me copy. Tokenable ID. And then here we're going to pass the user ID and then delete. We're going to delete this user within the database. And then we are going to return a response with a status of 200. We're going to return a message, user logged out. And that's it, guys. We just logged out a user, and then let's test this endpoint if it is working pretty well. Now here we need to test it. Here we need first to log in. Now let's first check if the token is still working. Yeah, it is working. And then here we are going to do log out. And here we need to move to the body. We are going to send the use ID that we want to log down. Here it is going to be 6. And pass here 6. And then here if we need to change also the HTTP verb to post, and then here we can log out the user. We got an error within the auth controller. The DB class, we do not import it. We need to import this class use DB. And then if we go back again and test, and if we go within the database, you can see here the user with ID 6 was logged in, and if we refresh this table, you can see the table, it is empty. Once a user logged in, Laravel Sanctum stores its token within the personal access tokens. Every user who is going to log in within the system, his token, his ID and token, it is going to be stored within the personal access tokens. And that's pretty much it, guys, for this video. In the next video, we're gonna start integrating all our endpoints within the Vue application. I see you there.